You might have watched our next guest on Netflix hit show, Is It Cake 2? Do you like that? Our family likes that show too. Corterrius Allen is joining us. He's also known as DaCakeGoat, and he's from Shelby, Mississippi. Hey, Corterrius.
Hey, how you doing?
I should say welcome back because how long ago was it you were on Good Things because of your time on the Food Network's show Halloween Wars?
About a little over a year.
Man, time has just flown by, and here you are.
Right, but I'm back.
You are back, and back on the big screen or small screen, however you want to say it again. So your season, or I guess it was episode 2 or season, not sure how it works, the second one there on Netflix show, Is It Cake 2, has already been out. How did that come about? How did you get this opportunity?
Well, pretty much it's the same way as I went through with the Food Network. I simply did the casting application with the casting company called Super Delicious. I went through a whole casting process. This was a long one. And it's, pretty much the same from the beginning. It was hard, and I wasn't, putting that much confidence in myself. But today I decided to tell myself that I'm no longer going to be down in myself. It's just going to happen. I'm going to do what I need to do, and it's just going to move forward.
Amen to that. And you have moved forward, though. I can imagine that if folks had never seen the show, we're going to walk them through that in just a minute and sort of how it works. But every baker that shows up to Is It Cake and Is It Cake 2 on Netflix is incredibly talented. You all are making, baked goods that look like real-life things that confuse judges. But how do you sort of describe the show? How do you kind of tell people what is It Cake?
I always just tell them it's a game of deception. You have to go in there, you have to make your cake look exactly like the decors that are placed right in front of you. Any little hiccup or mess up can cause you to lose out on $5,000 to $10,000, or even the whole grand prize, which was $70,000. So I just always tell people that it was a game of deception. And
it is. If you've never seen it, I totally encourage you to watch it. If you stream Netflix, it's a wonderful family show. My 10-year-old adores it. She adores you, Corterrius. She was like, "Oh, hometown boy."
Who was your child favorite character?
Of course, it was you, right? I mean, and the show to me is just it's interesting because you all seem to really, yes, you're competing against each other, but you're also rooting for each other differently than you sort of get vibes in other sort of competition shows because It is so deadgum hard. What was that like being with other that level of talented competitors?
You know what? Honestly, going into the competition, I didn't look at it like a competition, as the normal competition because you wasn't up against the other contestants, but sort of, kind of per se. But we were all so supportive of each other because we all had a common enemy, and that was the celebrity judges that they brought in. We had to deceive them. So we were supportive, of that. So I think everyone was just super excited that it wasn't like the typical competition show.
What was it like? Because part of it is they literally take out a huge knife and they're asking the judges the question of like picking out of, say, a sea of objects, which one they think is cake, and then they take the knife to it to see if it sort of cuts through. Tell me your heart palpitations. What is that like, Corterrius, whenever it's your turn and they've chosen something? Because you know in your head whether that's yours or not, right? Like you know which one is yours. You can sort of see between. You are not deceived.
Right. It's so nerve-wracking because every time that wall spins, you're like, okay, just please let this time run out before they call my number. You just hope and pray that they don't pick your cake and they actually pick the decoy. So in those moments, like standing there in the moment, it just took me for a loop.
Well, your talent is off the charts, as well as everybody there. We want to encourage folks to go watch your episodes. We won't ruin it for them here. I know it's been freshly out in that way. But I know you have the excitement of that sort of competition, and then you come back to Shelby, Mississippi, which I'm not going to say is like a boring, but the difference in going from that excitement and then back to your everyday, is that a hard sort of transition?
Yes, because Well, not really, because you get to meet you meet new people, but once you return home, you stay in contact with those people that you met, and just like once you come home from the competition, you just become a different baker. You get inspired more. You just want to do more to shock the people because you know what's about to happen. So I was just pretty much excited once I returned because I knew that the show was going to air out, and I just wanted to step up my game before, the show came out. So I just kept creating these different designs to give the people something to look at.
Where do you draw your inspiration? I encourage everyone to follow your Facebook and your Instagram, DaCakeGoat. It's not the, because I searched everywhere the other day for the. It's not the, it's DaCakeGoat, which is fine. But they'll get there and they'll sort of see all of your wonderful creations. Where do you get your inspiration from?
So most of my inspiration, it comes right out of my brain. I don't know how to draw, so I can't sketch. And sometimes my customers, when they do order from me, they have an idea as to where they want to go with it. But it's always in my head, once I start working, I add my own twist. And I change it up a little bit because I don't want it to be, just like the one that they sent me. I'm always a little different with that.
I love your backstory, Corterrius, on how you became a baker, because this is not something you set out to do. It kind of accidentally found you and this crazy talent that you have. Give us a little backstory of how you just got to the point where you recognized maybe you had a gift and talent for baking and creating.
Okay, I love telling this story. It gets good. So first I started working at a bake shop in Cleveland. I was a buttercream maker and a dishwasher. I had never decorated a cake. Well, maybe I decorated like a couple of dessert cakes, but they were never custom cakes. So once I got ready to go off to college, I didn't want to be the typical broke college student. That's my line right there. I just didn't want to be the typical broke college student. So I was looking for different ways to try to make me some money so I can, do what I needed to do while being in school. So I knew that my background, where I came from with the baking. So I was like, nobody in the area is doing this, so I was like, I can become a home baker. So I started making cupcakes. So the word got around on campus. I started, selling cupcakes out of my dorm room. And then one day someone asked me to do a cake. And so I didn't even know if I knew how to do the cake. So I just took the order, stepping out on faith, and I did the design. And I actually just posted it last night on my social media. And it wasn't good. The design didn't look good, but the cake itself was good. So I just started to practice more, and I knew I didn't want to be like no one in the area. So I said if I started to make cake look like realistic everyday items, that'll gain the attention of people, in the area because no one is doing this. So I just stepped out, kept practicing, and I kept posting, and people started to share my post on Facebook and just everywhere, and it's been up from there ever since.
What was the first cake that was an object that you completed that you said, hey, that actually looks like what I was going for?
It was a stack of pancakes. And when I did the stack of pancakes, it's these things that we have as cake artists. They know what I'm talking about out there. They're called cake dummies. So it's just like a piece of styrofoam that's shaped like a cake. So I was like, I'm going to try to do this. So I used fondant. I covered the dummy cake with ice, and then I started, shaping the fondant around the dummy cake. And so I posted on Facebook, and everybody was like, oh, my God, that looks so real. So I was like, okay, if I did it on the dummy cake, then I know I can do it on the real cake.
No reason to waste all that flour and sugar if you don't know it's going to come out right, huh?
Right, I know, right? Yeah.
Do you get a little sad every time someone cuts into one, like a customer?
You know what? That's the exciting part. You like, I did all this hard work just to see this get cut because as a cake artist, I think I stated this before, as a cake artist, we don't get to cut into the cakes ourselves. We only get to see someone else do it. So I think it's just the joy of people cutting into something that you made. And then they actually loving what you're doing. So.
Well, I love this conversation. Corterrius, can you stick with us?
Yeah, I'll be right here waiting on you.
All right, we got more with Corterrius Allen, the Cake Goat, coming up next. The Weather Channel. But if you want to catch our guest today, Corterrius Allen, DaCakeGoat, you have to find him on Netflix. His season is up on Is It Cake 2, and he makes wonderful things out of cake that look like real objects, and then they try to figure out if it's real or it's not. And Corterrius, it's a very sort of suspenseful cooking show as well as looks like very delicious. We're not going to give away any of the things because we want folks to go watch it, but tell us the inside flavors of your cakes. What is sort of Corterrius's, I guess, special inside flavors?
I have two special inside flavors. My first and my favorite one is the strawberry lemonade that I do. I take a strawberry buttercream ice, and then I take a lemon zest, and I shave it down, and I mix it together, and it's so good.
Oh, man.
And my second favorite flavor is one that I did on the show. I'm not going to tell which one it was because I want the people to go see. But my second favorite flavor is cookies and cream. It's an Oreo cookie chunk inside a cream cheese buttercream.
Do you eat cake? Are you so tired of seeing it by the end of the day, Corterrius, that you're just like, I don't need cake, or do you like cake?
I'm not really a big fan of cake, but I do have me a slice every now and then.
So what's your dessert of choice?
My dessert of choice, I would have to go with, I love banana pudding.
Can't go wrong with it, can you?
Right, you can't at all.
No, and my mom, who everybody calls Nana, makes the best Nana banana pudding on this side of the Mississippi. I would put it up against anybody's. There, I said it. Which I don't know her secret to it. I think it's just love and all the years of knowing it right. Do people ever ask you what's the secret to a good cake? And do you have any suggestions to that?
The people always come up and ask me, like, how do you do this stuff? Like, did someone teach you? I practiced and I practiced until I couldn't get it wrong. And there still are some designs that I'm not able to do, but I push myself until I can get it right.
Is there a design that you hope to master one day?
I say a method that I want to start mastering in cake. I want to sculpt actual, sculptures of cakes. Traditional birthday cakes, they're good and all, but I just want to step up my game a little bit more because I'm moving on up.
You are moving on up, and you've moved to what you hoped for, which was opening your own business. You're still there in Shelby, Mississippi. So what's it like to now have a small business? You went from working in one to now you've seen your dream come true of being a small business owner there in the Delta. What's that feeling like?
It's a good feeling because, as I stated before, the thing, like in cake, the thing that I do when someone see me out in this, just out and about, they always say, "You the guy that make the cakes." So that's what I'm known for. Like, I set myself apart by doing something so different because it's not every day that you'll see a guy, into cakes and, doing these actual creative pieces with cakes.
Do you ever get an order from a customer and go, "Ooh, I don't know if DaCakeGoat can do that"?
No, I actually don't, because one thing about it, I'm going to practice until I can get it right. If I'm not, one thing, let's say, okay, if I'm not able to put out a design, I'm just straightforward with it. I'd be like, I don't think I can do this, or it's a little too much to do within the time that someone wants it, because it's like, sometimes it's happened to me where people come and they want these huge cakes, but then they want it in a short amount of time, and I'm not able to put that out in the time that they want.
Well, it amazed me on your Netflix show, Is It Cake 2? You guys get 8 hours to create your pieces, which if people are familiar with the time challenges on a lot of different food sort of shows, I mean, you have a couple hours here and there, or they really crunch it down to, 30 minutes or more, which I recognize baking cakes takes a little bit longer than that. But were you surprised by the 8-hour challenge in terms of a lot of time, or did you think it wasn't enough time?
You know what? I wasn't surprised with the time challenge. However, it's never enough time to get stuff done because it's always something that you can fix or, make better. So I wasn't surprised with the time, only because I've been under time pressure before, and sometimes when I'm under time constraints, it pushes my drive to get the design better and better. So I wasn't really surprised with it.
I thought 8 hours was a long time. I was like, good googly moogly. I'd be so tired on my feet.
You have to bake, and then you have to make a lot of different pieces, because even though some of the cakes are small, they have a lot of details.
Which take a lot of time. Spoken to a girl who only makes cakes out of boxes. So, Corterrius, And my decorating comes with sprinkles and jelly beans. Like, that's about where, sort of my limit to that. Although I appreciate good cake. So I am the one, you are making it. I'm your customer. You don't have to worry about me being a competitor. I am definitely your customer in that. And there's a lot of people who may want to be a customer. I know you're there in Shelby, but how far is your reach in terms of where you go to deliver cakes?
I will come anywhere in the world as long as they pay for travel.
I love that. I heard in an interview that you had a special person that you wanted to make a cake for. Who was that?
I want to make a cake for Rick Ross.
Why is that?
Because, he's from Mississippi. He's from right down the road where I'm from. And he's the biggest boss. So the Cake Goat meets the biggest boss. That's what I really want to do.
Well, I don't say if you're in luck, but it was funny yesterday. We had on somebody they are putting together the first Jammin' or Jokin' Artist Showcase, which is happening on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. It's coming up this weekend, where artists get to showcase their talents and hopefully take their career to the next level. Draco Music Productions, as well as Fish Beats Digital, is helping to put this on. And part of the winnings from that is they get to work with Rick Ross. So I am getting you at least in contact, one step closer to your goal of making a cake for the boss, Rick Ross.
Oh, I really appreciate that. I hope he's out there listening somewhere.
He listens to good things every day. I have no idea, but I would assume if he knew that we were spreading good cheer about him. But we would love to see if that could materialize for you, because I think the two of you should definitely have that opportunity. Do you know what you would make?
I'm not even sure, but I know it'll be something so epic, because I want it to be something so epic. That's all I know. I'm not sure what it'll be, but
we'll definitely keep in touch with that and see how that sort of turns out. But I also know folks want to keep in touch with you. I mentioned they need to follow you. You are just phenomenally talented in what you do. Corterrius, you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram. Where else are you? Because that's the only platforms I'm on.
I'm on TikTok.
Of course you are. So where is it? Is it DaCakeGoat? Is it all the same?
On TikTok, it's DaCakeGoat, THEEEE. It's 3 E's.
Somebody took the DaCakeGoat that was already taken?
Yes, and I was so shocked about that. I had to look a little more into that.
We're going to have to hunt them down. That's all I'm saying.
I know, right?
We're going to take legal action. There's zero we can do, but we're going to come up with some legalese to maybe slide that back in your direction. But anything on the horizon? What's coming up next? You got anything else under your arm that may be coming out that we need to be watching for?
No, I just would say stay tuned. I don't have anything coming up as of now, but I'm sure a gazillion of opportunities are going to come my way.
Absolutely. You just keep.
And I will definitely keep you posted on all of that.
Please do. We are rooting for you here. Good things. If you're ever in the Jackson area, me and Rhino both like cake. So just telling you.
I was just going to say I would love to come and come on the show and meet you guys and do a demonstration of cake or fake.
Don't think if we can create this Rick Ross, the cake boss moment that we won't figure out how to get that on camera somehow. All right, buddy.
I look forward to that.
We appreciate your time here on Good Things. Wishing you all the luck in the world, and we'll be talking soon.
Okay. All right. Thank you for having me on.
No problem. Pretty cool. If you haven't checked that out, go to Netflix if you stream that service. Is It Cake 2? It's a wonderful family show. He is on season 2 of the new, well, he's on the episode 2 of the new season. It works a little bit differently than just shows. There's multiple shows to one big show. If that makes sense. I don't know. Go watch it. Also, really do. If you are one who likes to scroll and look, go check him out. His work is phenomenal, and he's right here from Mississippi. But stick with us. We got more for you coming up.